Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, well, there's always an upset in round one, at least one. Last year it was Florida over Boston. What have you identified this year, do you think?
Well, you know what? I'm still staying, Rod, with the Predators in 7 games over the Vancouver Canucks. I think from what we saw last night, I think for a couple of periods, Nashville proved that they can play that frustrating type style. They really limited Vancouver's opportunity. They went to sleep for about 12 seconds, as we know, and that really cost them the game. But I think when you talk about UC Saros, you've got the perennial playoff guys like Ron O'Reilly, Philip Forsberg, although I thought he was kind of invisible last night for Nashville. I think when you throw in some Roman Josi, Luke Shen, Ryan McDonough, these veteran guys who've been around and done it before and made some long playoff runs, I'm still taking Nashville to win in 7 games over the Vancouver Canucks, which is hard to say because that atmosphere last night at BC, as we all saw, was lights out good.
BW in Edmonton writes in and says, I have not seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off either. That's from BW. So when people say, Bueller, you two are lost. You have no idea what
No. I'm aware of that phrase. I mean, it's been used so much, of course, in pop culture over the years. I'm well aware of it. I'm well aware of the fact that he used to walk around wearing a Gordie Howe #9 Red Wing sweater. I know that much, but that's where my connection with that movie ends, Rod.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
God, I admire you as a great hockey chat. And what show doesn't want you, Ryan? You're the Ryan Lamborghini. You're the Lamborghini of television.
Wow, I'll take
Thank
that.
you.
That is a feather in the cap from Roddy.
There you go.
And I'll take.
How about that?
Over and out. Sportsnet Flames, Ryan Leslie. Man, that was fun.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show on a Tuesday, right? Episode number 1228 of Daytime Sports Talk coming your way. It's a good news, bad news kind of day. If you don't like Darren DuPont, it's good news. He's not with us at all today. If you do like Darren DuPont, it's bad news. He's not with us at all today. He's traveling. He's on his way to a gig. So here's what we got planned for you. It's just me for the opening segment. I know that I can handle that with me and you. And then in segment 2 of hour 1, Brien Ray will be joining us from Dallas Stars Television, Bally Sports, analyst and host of Dallas Stars games. They're down 1-0 after the loss to the Vegas Golden Knights last night. And I'm going to throw this out here right now. Yesterday's theme of the show was, where all have you lived? Which I, quite frankly, enjoyed. And that's really all that matters because I'm the host of the Rod Pedersen Show. I asked the viewers, where all have you lived? I went through mine. Milestone, Saskatchewan, Calgary, Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Regina, and now Boca Raton, Florida. That's it. That's my list. I opened the text line today for Sober Carpenter, and it was full of all the viewers. It was like a road map, man, of all over the world. Today's theme, I'm going to say this. It's not anything like that. I think all the whining about Mark Stone and the Vegas Golden Knights and the long-term injury reserve hijinks is very unbecoming. Whether it's the media, the fans, whatever, go look up, by the way, the definition of unbecoming. If you don't know what that means, it means unflattering. So I'm going to get to that, but that's the theme. It's unbecoming. And can anybody please tell me where you remember an incident in sports, just sports, where there's been as much whining as there is about this? Because I racked my brain for like 2 solid minutes, and I couldn't think of any. So please let me know. So I'm going to be going back and forth between the YouTube chat, the Sober Carpenter text line, 902-518-3033, Sober Carpenter, non-alcoholic craft beers. Ask for it by name at your local beer, wine, and spirit store. But this is kind of going to be like the Rush Limbaugh of sports, as my guy Chris from the Bronx said a couple of years ago. He said, you're the Rush Limbaugh of sport. I don't really understand everything you're talking about, but dang, you make it entertaining. So that's what we're going to try and do here in segment 1. Brien Ray, segment 2, then back to me later on with a sports update and viewer takeover. And then in hour 2, we're going to be joined by Luke Gazdic. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't know, the Sportsnet analyst and former National Hockey League and American Hockey League pugilist. He's legit in every way. He was a legit tough guy in the NHL, and he's a legit broadcaster and analyst now. I think of the world of him. He's going to be with us an hour, too. And then we'll be done. And then I'll be ready for Game 2 tonight in Sunrise, Florida, between the Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. And boy, oh boy, do I have a lot of stories and ready to go with that. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? And we'll go.
Hell yes.
I did host sports talk radio on local sports radio for almost 10 years, so I kind of know how to carry the mail by myself. So I will try to get to as many of your comments as I can here in this opening segment where it's just me, but I'm not promising anything, okay? And we are live on Game Plus television across all of Canada and 31 U.S. states on the radio in Atlanta, where we are very proudly Atlanta's NHL show. I've been asked so many times, Rod, why do you want the NHL to return to Atlanta? I'm tired of answering the question. If you don't know by now, we are Atlanta's NHL show, and having an NHL team in Atlanta would go real well with this show. But they're not getting it by, as Don Cherry says about Americans in hockey, if they're not getting it by now, they're not going to get it. Okay. Can you hit the horn again, please, Jordan? Wake everybody up. Thank you. Here we go with what happened in the National Hockey League on Monday night. I like to call it NHL leftovers. Zach Hyman had 3 goals and an assist in his first playoff hat trick. Connor McDavid had 5 assists, and Edmonton beat Los Angeles 7-4 in Game 1 of their first-round playoff series. Adam Henrique, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Neon Leon, and Warren Fogle also scored. And Evan Bouchard chipped in with 4 helpers for the Oilers, who had lost the first game of their last 7 playoff series and had not won Game 1 of a series on home ice since 1990. I hate all those stats. What mattered last night is McDavid had 5 assists. The Oilers scored 3 power play goals. And, yes, I did have a text this morning from Rich Sutter, who was on with us yesterday. He goes, I told you, they got to find a way to slow down 97 and 29. And they just didn't. And I'm excited to talk to Luke Gazdic specifically in hour 2 and a little bit of Brian Ray. The LA Kings continue to have that same phobia of McDavid that everybody has. They just stand around. They're afraid to look silly, made to look silly by Connor McDavid, and he did it again last night. 1 assist off the NHL record of 6, held by Wayne Gretzky and some guy I've never heard of in the early 80s with the New York Rangers. Now, I'm not going to spend the whole segment on the Edmonton Oilers, although I'm sure a lot of you wish that I would. Austin Matthews scored on a breakaway to snap a third-period tie with 8 minutes to go, and the Toronto Maple Leafs beat. Yeah, there's Clark for you. Clark runs the annoying sound effects. I don't think they're annoying, Clark, just so you know.
I like it.
Just that no-name, big-market TV producer does that we haven't heard from since I ripped him neck from navel. The Maple Leafs beat the Boston Bruins 3-2 Monday night to tie up that series 1-1. Pausing for a second to tell you, I want the Leafs to win the series. I don't really know why. I just want them to. I want them to win the series. And if they're to win the Stanley Cup, I'd be okay with that too. Why? I don't really know. I delved into that for a solid 2 minutes, and I think it's because I'm just tired of the narrative. I'm tired of the 1967 narrative. But I think Austin Matthews is a great player. Morgan Riley's awesome. Johnny Tavares, to be honest, they're don't at me, but they're kind of a likable team as far as I'm concerned. I want them to win. But only one can. There's only one team, Boston and Toronto. One of those will win. Ilya Samsonov stopped 27 shots for Toronto, who snapped an 8-game losing streak against Boston. Max Domi and John Tavares also scored for the Leafs, who haven't beaten the Bruins in a playoff series since 1959. And we continue our tour in Raleigh. Sebastian Aho and Jordan Martinook scored 9 seconds apart late in the third to help Carolina complete a comeback with 3 goals down to meet the Islanders 5-3. And they've gone up 2-0 in what will probably be a sweep, no more than 5. Man, we're halfway through this segment already, and I haven't even got through point 1. And in Dallas, Vegas captain Mark Stone scored quickly after missing 2 months. Thomas Hertl had a nifty goal in his playoff debut for Vegas, and the reigning Stanley Cup champions opened defense of their title with a 4-3 win over top-seeded Dallas. The Knights entered this playoff as the number 8 seed and a first-round opener in Dallas, where last year they wrapped up the West Final with a Game 6 victory after having won the first 3 games. Game 2 of this series goes Wednesday. So you all know it. If you don't by now, what are you watching this show for? Mark Stone scored in his return, and my timeline of social media is full, and it's unbecoming of people that are whining about the Golden Knights bending the rules or finding a loophole to put Mark Stone on long-term injured reserve to create salary space to acquire Noah Hannafin and Thomas Hertl, because in the playoffs the salary cap doesn't apply. That's what it is if you didn't know. And let me just say this. I've said it many times on this show. As a guy who knows how Kelly McCrimmon operates, opposed him in the Western Hockey League for only a couple of decades, and I've known him since I was 16 years of age, he's not breaking any rules, because if he was, he would have been disciplined for it by the National Hockey League. Why he has the influence and why they're allowed to do, or why not allowed, why they do this and no other teams do, I don't know. But you have 2 choices. Roll over and take it, or keep whining. But in both cases, it's not going to change nor stop. Those are your choices. So I suggest you heard what I said. Point 2 as we move on. Lindy Ruff is returning to Buffalo for a second stint as coach of the Sabres. General manager Kevin Adams announced the hiring on Monday. Lindy Ruff coached the Sabres from 1997 to 2013 and was the last person to guide them to the playoffs. Buffalo fired Don Granato after missing the playoffs for a 4th consecutive season with him in charge. Sabres haven't made the playoffs since 2011, the longest drought in the National Hockey League. Lindy coached the New Jersey Devils the past 3 seasons before being fired in March. I don't know a lot of Buffalo fans. I know some. Jenna Reagan's probably watching in Southern California right now because she tunes in every day. And Brian Duff, their longtime TV host, he and I went to college together and we're best friends. It hasn't been good there for a long time. We saw the Sabres here 2 Saturdays ago. I think the Panthers won that one 4-2, and we're just sitting there going, the Sabres should be better than they are. They're a Canadian World Junior All-Star team. Dylan Cousins, the workhorse from Whitehorse, Owen Power. Zach Benson wasn't on Team Canada, but should have been. The list goes on and on and on. They're very young, but this was a year that we expected they would be in the playoffs, and clearly Kevin Adams, the general manager, did too, because he fired Don Granato. And yesterday, Rich Sutter said on this show that team needs a hard-ass coach. I think he suggested his brother Daryl, or it might have been on the phone when we were talking. Either way, Daryl ain't done yet, but he said a hard-ass coach is what the Sabres need. He didn't mention Lindy Ruff. He said a Torts type, but I mean, Torts isn't going anywhere because he's in Philadelphia. Well, they got their hard-ass, and his name's Lindy Ruff, and he's no stranger to Buffalo. Played there, coached there, as I said, 97 to 2013. And that's our poll question today. Do you think Lindy Ruff will take the Buffalo Sabres to the next level? It's yes or no. And the last I saw, over 60% saying yes, he will. Clark, what are they saying on YouTube? It was Twitter. Over 60% said no, he won't. What are they saying on YouTube? 50-50 right on the snout, according to Clark. See, I came up with this question today, and I knew it would be polarizing. And here's why I think you had to carefully word this, because I was going to say, well, Lindy Ruff take the Sabres to the promised land. We would all take that to mean a Stanley Cup championship. They've never won a Stanley Cup. There's no reason to think Lindy Ruff will do that. But the question is, to the next level. The next level for the Buffalo Sabres is the playoffs. I'm going to land the plane here. It's just everybody feels that the Sabres are a talented enough team. They're very young. They've been picking high every year, right? There's a lot of talent there. They wasted Jack Eichel through this whole 13 years of out of the playoffs. They needed a hard ass. Lindy Ruff is that. And, hey, strike one for the old guys. The Dusty Baker of hockey. Not that old, but old enough. You know, that you see all these young kids, you wonder how they get that job. He's got no experience. Some are successful, some aren't. But Lindy Ruff, I'm going to vote yes, because the next level for Buffalo is simply the playoffs, and they're good enough to be there. And there are hockey people that feel that Sabres are too soft in some areas. Some of the players are too soft. They've been babied. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. All I know is they should have been better, and that's why they made this move. Moving on. Point 3, Bo Bichette had a bases-clearing triple. Dalton Varsho hit a 2-run homer, and the visiting Toronto Blue Jays beat the Kansas City Royals 5-3 on Monday. Jays starter Yusei Kikuchi was efficient early, allowing one base runner on 48 pitches in the first 5 innings. Jordan Romano surrendered a homer by Kyle Isbell in the 9th, but finished for his 3rd save of the season and 100th of his career. Just wondering where the Jays, not haters, are, but all the nervous Nellies, where'd you go? I don't hear from you anymore. Point 4, there are 4 NHL playoff games tonight, including 2 in Canada. The Winnipeg Jets are looking to take a 2-0 lead in their first-round series against Colorado. The Vancouver Canucks, will be aiming to do the same against Nashville. Elsewhere, the Washington Capitals are at the Rangers. Washington down 1-0 in the series. And here in Sunrise, the Florida Panthers welcome the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's a 1-0 Florida series edge. We got to do an NFL note for the footballers that are tuned in today. Point 5, the New York Jets have traded quarterback Zach Wilson to the Denver Broncos. The Jets are sending Wilson and a 7th-round pick in this week's draft to the Broncos for a 6th-rounder. The Jets are parting ways with Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick in 2021 after just 3 disappointing seasons. New York also expected to pay a portion of his $5.5 million salary for this season. Meanwhile, NFL teams are using premium draft picks on quarterbacks at an increasingly high rate. The draft this weekend is slated to be the 8th in the past 9 years, with at least 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round. That will match the number of times that happened in the first 38 years of the draft era. Again, saying it again, this weekend is slated to be the 8th in the past 9 years with at least 3 quarterbacks going in the first round. We could name them right now: Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams, and I believe J.J. McCarthy will be the 4th. There could be 5 that go. So we'll be kicking that around. We got all those topics. I guess I got a minute to read point 6. We'll get through them all. A team spokesman says the Philadelphia 76ers plan to file a grievance related to the officiating during their series against the Knicks. The 76ers lost both games in New York, with the Knicks rallying in the final 30 seconds. If you care or were watching, Sixers center Joel Embiid believed Tyrese Maxey was fouled when the Knicks stole the ball from him on the possession that led to the go-ahead three-pointer by Dante DiVincenzo. You can launch a grievance, but what's it going to do? They're not going to go back and play the final 30 seconds again. We just want to let it be known that we're pissed off. Okay. Thank you. See you for the next game. You might get a letter. And all you've done is upset the officials. When we come back, we're going to Dallas. Brien Ray will be with us from Bally Sports. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Everybody, it's your hourly reminder to sign up for Landmark Extras for free and get more of what you love, like free movies, free concession items, invites to special events. There are 3 programs for you to cheer for and choose from to suit your busy life. Go to landmarkcinemas.com and sign up now. In Dallas last night, Vegas captain Mark Stone scored quickly after missing 2 months. Thomas Hertel had a nifty goal in his playoff debut for Vegas, and the reigning Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Knights knocked off Dallas 4-3. Brien Ray, of course, on the air for it. Bally Sports analyst and host of Stars coverage. Hey, Brien, thanks for joining us today. I saw the comments of your coach after the game last night, the 4-3 loss. I would like to get yours. What did you think of Game 1 last night? The Vegas, the only road team to win so far in these playoffs.
Well, in terms of storylines, dramas, and headlines, there's no shortage of Game 1, just with everything going into the series and then what occurred in that first game. Watching that game, I thought Dallas started a little bit slow in period 1. And when you take a penalty 26 seconds into the hockey game and you're just feeding that Vegas power play, which regardless of what the regular season numbers say, you look at the personnel they have now, that's a different looking power play than what it looked like 3 months ago and even past that. So I thought Dallas took longer to get to their game and Vegas got there quicker. And then for a team like Vegas, if they can build a 1-goal lead or a 2-goal lead, they are really good at keeping that uphill climb as steep as possible for you to try and reach back. Dallas, I thought they were okay in the second, and they had a push in the third. I mean, it's a 4-3 finish, but when you get to this point and you're playing that team, even just taking an early penalty 26 seconds into a hockey game, that's a detail that can be a deciding factor. And I thought Vegas, they really used the first period to get the advantage.
Yeah, and I got to correct myself. Vegas was the only road team to win Game 1, but not the first road team to win in these playoffs, because the Leafs won Game 2 last night. But I saw Peter DeBoer say after the game, we need to be, to paraphrase, we need to be perfect against a team like Vegas. So what's the panic factor after Game 1? Probably none at all, but thinking we just need to be better the rest of the way.
Well, the beauty of playoffs is after one game, everybody panics because it's the end of the world. But as soon as you win a game, you're world beaters. You know, I think for Dallas, no, it's not a panic factor. Everybody expects this series to be a long series, 6 or 7 games, and the way these two teams are built. If you're Dallas, I think you certainly need to win game 2. Anytime you're the home team and you lose home ice advantage in game 1, the stakes get raised quite a bit to get game 2 and don't fall behind in an 0-2 hole having to go on the road. But I think, listening to Peter DeBoer's comments, there were parts of the game where Dallas controlled play. They had looks. They had the opportunity to tie the game late. They had the opportunity to tie the game throughout. The biggest thing that myself and my co-host Brent Seven were noticing, the Vegas Golden Knights defensively might be the largest and longest defensive core in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the shell they can fortify in the middle of their own zone and in front of their own goaltender, they do it better than probably any team in these NHL playoffs. And so the challenge for Dallas, can they find a way to get interior or be more effective interior to try and break through that shell? Because if you watch Logan Thompson's game last night, it was juicy rebound after juicy rebound. Take the Mason Marchment cupcake that he gave up and park that to the side. There were second chance rebound looks galore for the Dallas Stars throughout that game. They just couldn't get to them. Vegas was the first team on that second chance puck in their own zone every single time. So for Dallas, they're going to have to find a way to get to some of those pucks and score a couple of goals that way and find a way to break through that defensive shell for Vegas. That's my biggest takeaway from game 1 from a Dallas side.
You actually said that going into the series last year between these two teams, and they couldn't find a way to penetrate. Yeah, I remember you saying the same, and they couldn't figure out a way to do it. And and then kind of what you said was they're even a better team this year based on what they did, which reminds me, just if I can get your take on the Mark Stone issue. I opened the show by saying the whining is unbecoming of people. I don't remember an incident in hockey or in sports that has caused this much whining, mostly from the fans and media. How do you feel about what Vegas has done to acquire Hertl and Hannafin?
Well, I think, first of all, just in today's world, the social media factor has increased the whining ability of everybody tenfold at least. The way I view the Mark Stone situation, and you and I could go for an hour on this, I think big picture, by the letter of the law, there's nothing being broken. All right, everything that has gone on is within the letter of the law. I think the spirit of the law is being pretty well exploited. And this is not just a Vegas issue. Any NHL team that would like to exploit it has the opportunity to do so. I think the problem is Vegas has made this their standing operating procedure, or at least it feels that way. They've made themselves the poster child of this loophole with the LTIR rule. So I view it more from a big picture standpoint. Stone's playing. He's here. We all knew it was coming. Nobody is surprised by this. This is the situation, and this is what you have to deal with. But if you're the NHL, and this cannot be changed unless it's through the collective bargaining agreement, so it is here to stay. The loophole's not going anywhere until a new CBA negotiation. I do think your fan base is giving you some market research, and the whining, as you phrase it, and the noise that is being drummed up. Your market is clearly telling you they want the loophole closed. So can you find a way to close that loophole when the collective bargaining agreement renegotiations come around? Maybe. Or maybe you don't want to close it. Maybe it's not that big of an issue. We will learn when the CBA needs to be reset, how the NHL feels, how the owners feel, and also how the Players Association feels about this loophole in the LTIR rule. But I do think some of the whining, your fans are telling you they want the loophole closed. They're just going to be shouting it from the rooftops for as long as Vegas continues to have success, because they have made themselves the poster child of this loophole.
I want to say that was a very eloquent answer. And what you're kind of saying is it's a gentleman's agreement. No, you answered it very well. You're kind of saying it's a rule of thumb not to use this as a loophole, and they broke the gentleman's agreement or the rule of thumb. And here's the thing, for a guy that's known, I've known Kelly McCrimmon since I was 16. I know he has an MBA in business. I know how he operates. All fair in love and war. All is fair in love. He don't care. That's him?
What? I wouldn't look at it as a gentleman's agreement the way you phrased it. This is a byproduct that has simply developed. It's a similar example to overtime. When overtime started 3-on-3, it was fast, it was chaotic, it was entertaining. Everybody loved it. A byproduct of that is the coaches simply figured out a way to slow down overtime. This LTIR loophole, now that it's being utilized in a different way to beef up your team come playoff time, this is just a byproduct of hockey operations departments figuring out a way within the laws to inflate their roster and make it as strong as possible. And this happens. Teams and rules, they evolve over time and things need to be tweaked. We have reached the point the loophole needs to be closed or at least tweaked in some way. I would view it more as a byproduct of just competitive behavior.
Also, very well said. No, I'm serious, dude. I am. And, hey, The last time you're on, I'm not going to keep you much longer. Just one more question. We ran out of time when you were getting your Brett Hull story. And I felt terrible that we had to run. But you're a TV guy. You get it. But we got time now. What do you got? A Brett Hull story.
Well, you and I were talking, just being hockey fans and sort of what turned us on. And you mentioned Brett Hull and the Easton aluminum stick. And I had an Easton aluminum growing up because of Brett Hull and just how cool it looked. So there was a story when I was growing up, and I may fudge some of the details, but why let the truth get in the way of a good story? At some point, Brett Hull, I believe, signed an agreement with Louisville and stopped using Easton aluminums and switched to their graphite sticks. And there was a playoff game when I was growing up. I believe it was against the Detroit Red Wings. Either his stick broke or something happened, and he quickly grabbed an Easton aluminum, and he rattled off a 4-goal game. And in the press conference afterwards, or meeting with the media afterwards, he basically had to apologize to Louisville, saying, look, I'm sorry. It was just a spur of the moment, but after I rattle off 4 goals against Detroit in a playoff game, I might have to stick with the Easton aluminum and see how things go from here, which I thought was hilarious. Because sometimes, players, you have agreements, you have endorsement deals. There's a business side, but also if you rattle off 4 goals in a playoff game, you can't change the stick back. You have to stick with what's working for you. And for whatever reason, that Brett Hull story has stuck with me since I was a kid. And when you mentioned the Easton aluminum, it was the first thing I thought of.
I love it. That's fantastic. You want an authentic influencer for your products. But it's like, if I can't score 4 with this thing, I don't know. And that's why Louisville never took off as a stick maker.
There you go.
That's the sense that I give.
Not to blame Louisville, but the CEO of Easton had to be like, hey, we're not going to apologize for anything. It's not our fault the guy scored 4 with our stick.
Exactly. Brien, I really love our chats, man. And thanks for fitting us in. Good luck. Go Stars the rest of the way here.
We'll see it's going to be a great series. The bottom line, it'll be a great series. So I hope everybody enjoys it.
Thank you, pal. Appreciate it. Great job. Brien Ray, Bally Sports, host and analyst of Dallas Stars Television. And it's funny he says that. So he used the Easton because of Brett Hull. I got a story for you because I like telling the stories, and apparently the viewers like them. He says he used the Easton because of Hull. I, in the 80s, had to have a Vic goal stick like Ron Hextall's. And if you go back right now, Google a photo of Ron Hextall, specifically 1987, because this was about the era, white, and it had in black letters Vic, and like italicized Vic. I needed one, but they were extremely expensive at that time. It was like $75 in 1987, like $750 now. We weren't overflowing with cash, okay, on the Pedersen farm. We weren't. And I begged and hounded my dad. I had to have it. I had to have it. And we were playing in the Weyburn Coliseum. If it was 87, I'd have been 14, 15. And we went down to, somebody help me, what's the sporting goods store in Weyburn that the Shellstads run? I was going to say Lonnie's, but it's not Lonnie's. Lonnie Hoyam ran it. But whatever it was, the sporting goods store what the hell's the name? Was it Hoyams? Whatever. I went down. We got that stick. Went and played. First shot. Snap. First shot. I looked up at my dad in the crowd, and he's like, yeah. I'm pretty sure he put it on the credit card. One shot. No more Vic sticks after that. Thanks a lot, Ron Hextall. When we come back, yeah, we'll get to all your questions and comments for the rest of the way. Yeah. Almost a half an hour of viewer takeover, audience takeover. And then Luke Gazdic in hour 2 from Sportsnet. I like him a lot, too. We'll be right back. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
The race for the Cantera Seats Cup continues on Flow Hockey TV.
Huge there as he's lit up by Constantino. Miller, beautiful pass, shot scored! Oh my, big save there!
The SJHL playoffs are on.
60 minutes and who wants it more?
Follow the race for the Cantera Seats Cup on Flow Hockey TV.
Foreigner, live in Moose Jaw. Foreigner is back. The Farewell Canada Tour. You're as cold as ice. May 13th, the Moose Jaw Event Center. Foreigner, with special guest, Headpins. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca and the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Well, this has just been fantastic, hasn't it? I got to get a hold of Moose. He's flying to a gig. He should be landing. He could probably have done hour 2, right, Clark? He probably could have, but he just didn't want to. But I got to get his picks tonight for the NHL games. Last night, we both were 2-2. 2 for 4, 2-2. I need the picks tonight. Ooh. We will get to tonight's games next hour, just so you know. Hold on to your bingo cards. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I love, all caps, Rod stories. I imagine goalie sticks would be more expensive than forward sticks. Of course, right? More wood. To the Sober Carpenter text line, just to catch you up to speed on what we've been talking about so far here on Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show and Canada's only daytime sports talk show. Here in America, we're one of them. Regarding the poll question, will Lindy Ruff get the Buffalo Sabres to the next level? Brien in Hudson's Bay writes in, and he says, yeah, Lindy will get him to the playoffs, but probably not any further. He had a good young team in New Jersey, and after getting them to the playoffs last year, and then took a step back this year, Buffalo going with the old boys club. You know what? I feel like it was not an easy move for Kevin Adams to do that and hire Lindy Ruff, would be my guess. Lindy's a bit of a dinosaur, while he is a legend there, and took them to the 1999 Stanley Cup final. It couldn't have been easy. Just going to go one of two ways, obviously. He's either going to get him into the playoffs and maybe back to the promised land, to the Stanley Cup final, or he'll be proven to be past his prime. I don't know. But what Rich Sutter said on this show yesterday, the Sabres need an old-school, hard-ass coach. They got one. Because that team has been playing a little too soft and not hitting expectation. Kirk in Toronto writes in, he says, hi, Rod. Austin Matthews' breakaway goal was one for the ages. Yeah, it was, and I'm very happy that the Leafs won for a lot of reasons. I picked them to win last night. I picked them to win the series, and I'd be happy if they won the Stanley Cup. I've said the whining about the Vegas Golden Knights and their long-term injury reserve rule skullduggery is unbecoming, which, if you look it up, the definition of unbecoming is unflattering. Doesn't look good on the people whining. Ryan Thomas writes in, the former captain of the Regina Pats. You were the captain, weren't you, Tommy? Can't remember. But anyways, he says on the text line, it's not unbecoming. It's 3 years in a row now that Mark Stone has gone on long-term injured reserve and returned miraculously for Game 1 of the playoffs every year. It's a joke, Roddy. Again, I guess it's open to discussion or perspective. I go back to all those years, Tommy. You were with me. Riding the bus, we're whining about the way the Wheat Kings did business, and all it did was make us look bad when we lost to them every year. How he is allowed, and when I say he, I say H, he with a capital H, Kelly McCrimmon, how he's allowed to do this. I never figured it out, but I'm just sleep a lot better when you just stop fighting it. Darcy in Grand Prairie, Alberta, writes in, he says, the Jays fans whining drowns out the Mark Stone whining. That's funny. But they're not whining now. They're silent because they're winning. Larry in Medicine Hat writes in and he says, the Leafs are fortunate that wasn't a 5-on-3 for Boston. Go Team Canada. Sure. And what? Is the World Hockey started, Clark? What are we cheering for Canada for today? Just in general? Okay, just in general. Go Canada. Okay. Yeah. I know there's some curling going on. Hey, it's a good day to cheer for Canada. A sports update. I could sit here and read these comments from you all day. Man, I love it. In NBA playoff action, there are 3 games scheduled for tonight. The Minnesota Timberwolves host the Phoenix Suns The Indiana Pacers visit the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Los Angeles Clippers are home to the Dallas Mavericks. The T-Wolves, Bucks, and Clippers are all up one game tonight. Blue Jays ace Kevin Gausman searches for his first win of the season as Toronto plays the second game of a four-game series at KC tonight. Jays topped the Royals 5-3 in last night's opener. Righty Michael Wacha will be on the mound for the Royals. Do we not think about the Muppets? Waka Waka. When we think about Michael, I always do. Waka Waka. Fozzie the Bear. Canada's Kadriana and Colton Lott scored sixth in the sixth end to clinch a 12-5 win over Scotland at the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship in Sweden. The husband and wife team from Gimli, Manitoba improved to 5-0 with the victory. I'm assuming they're representing Canada. Go, Canada, go. Speaking of Gimli, I got a story. I noticed on Twitter from the Winnipeg reporters that when they got to Canada Life Center in the press box for game one of their series against Colorado the other day, there was a mini bottle of Crown Royal whiskey on all the desks, all the spots for the media. First thing I thought was, well, that's a good one. Get them drunk. Sometimes when I read their stuff, I think they are. But I was invited out to Gimli for a tour of the treatment center there, the rehab center, the ARC Recovery Center. Can't remember what ARC stands for. ARC Recovery Center. And I got a tour of the town from my good friend Ian, who was running the center at the time. And he's like, that is the Crown Royal distillery and factory. Gigantic barrels, granaries full of whiskey. And I said, it's just downwind from the rehab center. He's like, yep. Because when the wind picks up and blows the right way, you can smell that whiskey right in the rehab center. I'm like, oh, great. I'm sure that's perfect. And then when we got the tour of ARC Recovery Center, Ian's not there anymore. I'm not sure if the place is still there. I'm sure it is. But I'm like, this is a recovery center? They got a beach, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and sauna, and hot tubs, and horseback riding, and everything. It was awesome. Oh my God, I should have gone here. Anyways, the sports update's brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. That's the other 50% of my life that nobody knows about. But that was a fun time. I didn't want to leave. I was having so much fun. Sports update also for Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas May 3rd, The Fall Guy from real-life stuntman and director David Leitch, the blockbuster director of Bullet Train, Deadpool 2, Atomic Blonde, and Fast and Furious, comes his most personal film yet. A new hilarious, hard-driving, all-star thriller and love letter to action movies and the hard-working and underappreciated crew of people who make them. The Fall Guy in Landmark Cinemas May 3rd, starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. We'll be right back with more viewer takeover right after this. Luke Gazdic coming up in hour 2. We are live on the Game Plus TV network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
One of hip-hop's finest, Ice Cube.
You better check yourself or you wreck yourself, 'cause I'm back.
Straight into Canada tour. April 28th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I can't believe today was a good day.
Among the most influential rappers of all time, Ice Cube. On sale now at sasktix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Okay, we're back at it. We are back at it. And I don't really know what we're going to talk about. Kidding. I always do. Got an interesting news release has come in here from the NLL. You should see my inbox, man. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in there. Rod Monroe writes in, that's producer Clark's dad. Toughest handshake ever. Bingo. It's not close for number 2. Right, Clark? Like, bingo. Get ready if you're going to shake his hand. He says, hey, Rod, does Clark have a little extra bounce in his step today? Do you, Clark? I kind of sense that he does every day, but he says yes. Hey, thank you for bringing that. Does your dad not know that? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's why. I thought you just meant because the Leafs won last night. No, Clark's going to Game 3 in Toronto. Clark robbed a bank.
How about that?
Don't tell anybody. He's got tickets to the Leafs in Game 3. Leafs and I don't, which is interesting. I'll try to get as many of your comments as I can. Trying to stay focused here. It's a lot easier when Moose is here because when he's talking, I'm not really listening. I'm going through your comments. I think that's cat's out of the bag now. But number one, news release from the National Lacrosse League regarding buying tickets. In the latest example, this is written by the NLL PR people, of course, in the latest example of the National Lacrosse League's continued popularity across North America, the NLL welcomed 1,060,706 game attendees through its turnstiles during this past season, a 2% increase compared to last year, and the second time the NLL has enjoyed consecutive seasons exceeding 1 million in attendance in its 37-year history. The Buffalo Bandits led the league in attendance. So that's number one. I love the National Lacrosse League. And when I was at Super Bowl, I'll be honest, if there's anybody else there that can corroborate, there was all kinds of advertising for the Desert Dogs, the Las Vegas Desert Dogs, the NLL team that Gretzky owns. I don't know how they're, I guess I could dig a little further and see how they're doing for attendance, but I love the pace of the game. I love the athletes. I don't know why more people don't, but here you're seeing over 1 million people enjoyed their games this year. So there's that. And then just out of the blue, I got an email here from the Miami Heat. NBA, they're very aggressive, by the way, the NBA, with their ticket selling. We're back at it versus Boston. Be here when the series shifts to Miami for games 3 and 4 later this week. Click here for tickets. So I did. You can get, hey, $85, Clark, you can get it. Did you pay $85 for yours? Because that's what the Heat are charging against the Boston Celtics. Did you pay $85 for the Leafs? He said at least 85. What's the over-under on Leafs tickets? Like, you can't stand a block away from Scotiabank Arena for $85. Why did this just pop into my head? It reminds me of a pool party that I went to in Las Vegas with Sean Avery. We didn't go together. He was there. And I sat down on a recliner at this pool party, and the guy was like, what are you doing? I said, sitting on the recliner. Not unless you got $150. What? To sit down, you're going to charge me $150? Yep. I'm okay. I'll stand. And then I waded into the pool. Guy came up to me, and I'm like, oh, what, you're going to charge me to go in the pool? He goes, no, I'm just going to tell you, I wouldn't go in there. Why? You don't know what's in there. And then he named off a few fluids it could be. I'm like, thanks. Yeah. 902-518-3033. Regarding the hockey sticks and me using a Ron Hextall Vic stick and Brian Ray of Dallas Stars TV using an Easton because of Brett Hull. Rodney White in Melfort Sask writes in and he says, in the 80s, you had to have the Titan TPM 2020 because of Mike Bossy, the purest goal scorer in the history of the NHL. How about the Titan 3020? I did a banquet with Clark Gillies one time. We talked for at least 30 minutes about Titan hockey sticks. Yeah. Clark said you could walk into a bar and leave with 3 women if you had a Titan hockey stick with you. He said it, not me. Hour 2 coming up. We'll have a lot of fun right after this brief pause.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The race for the Cantera Seeds Cup continues on Flow Hockey TV. The SJHL playoffs are on.
60 minutes and who wants it more?
Follow the race for the Cantera Seeds Cup on Flow Hockey TV.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
God, I admire you as a great hockey chat. And what show doesn't want you, Ryan? You're the Ryan Lamborghini. You're the Lamborghini of television.
Wow, I'll take
Thank
that.
you.
That is a feather in the cap from Roddy.
There you go.
And I'll take.
How about that?
Over and out. Sportsnet Flames, Ryan Leslie. Man, that was fun.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, we're ready. We're good. We're good to go. It's hour 2. Here we go of your favorite daytime sports talk show. Got a lot of viewer takeover coming your way here. What? How did I move that mic? I ran out in the break and I got it all screwed up here, but that's okay. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio. No Moose, just me. Rocking and rolling just fine. Moose is traveling to a gig, although he has landed. The Eagle has landed. Because I texted him, and let's see about Wi-Fi on the plane was a possibility, which is a possibility. I texted him for his picks for tonight's NHL games because last night he and I went 2-2. We tied in our breakaway bets thing. I said we would talk this hour about tonight's games, and we will. There are 4. If you want a little behind-the-scenes stuff, a little peek behind the curtain, go to my personal Instagram at Rod Pedersen Official. You're going to see that they've got the street in front of our home here in South Florida all ripped up today. Ripped up. I had to stop and take a video of it just to show the world. You wouldn't believe. I'm not whining or complaining. I'm not really much of a complainer, believe it or not. I'm not. Not like those whining about Mark Stone, which we'll get to. And I'm like, how are we supposed to get to the hockey game? We can't even get the car or Jeep off our property. Because we're going to game 2 tonight, Tampa Bay Lightning and Florida Panthers. And Serena said, oh, they'll move. And I'm like, oh, you know that? And she just gave me that look. They'll move. Gotcha. So, yes. Do the Florida Panthers go up 2-0 on Tampa tonight? Or do the Lightning show up? And do the big 3 become themselves, Hedman, Kucherov, and Stamkos? Because they weren't the other night at all in Game 1. It's going to be a slobber knocker here tonight. And I kind of think Florida's going to win. So, spoiler alert, we'll get to our picks later. Luke Gazdic coming up as well from Sportsnet, former fighter in the National Hockey League and the American Hockey League. Everybody likes Luke Gazdic. But we're really enjoying the kibitzing back and forth with the viewers. We're doing it far more today than we do when Moose is here. And I'm cool with that for a little bit of a change. So my stance today, we had that theme yesterday of where all have you lived, and that went over well. Today's theme is going over just as popularly, but maybe not as well. in that I said the Mark Stone whining from the fans and the media is it's unbecoming. I've had people agree. I've had others, more actually, the majority, not agree. They don't like what Vegas has done. I would think if you're watching this show, you know exactly what it is. But again, they took their captain, Mark Stone, put him on the long-term injured reserve late in the season. Therefore, his salary doesn't count to the salary cap. They acquired Noah Hamilton and Thomas Hertl. And then come playoff time, magically, he's fine. And oh, yeah, the salary cap doesn't apply in the playoff. And they all factored in on the game last night. The win in Dallas, 4-3. I just think it's unbecoming. It's whining. And Brian Ray said it's of the Dallas Stars TV last hour. He goes, basically, it's what we all know. He goes, they found a way, a loophole around it, just like coaches have found a way to slow down 3-on-3 hockey in overtime. That's their job. However you want to say it, the whining is out of control. And I don't believe anybody, because I think it was too good of a question, Clark, if you're welcome to chime in too. When and where in sports have we had this amount of whining about any particular instance? I don't remember it ever. And Brian Ray made a good point about social media amplifying the whining. So, yeah, hey, my life is a hell of a lot more calm since I cut by 90% the amount of my time on there. I got friends probably watching right now. I don't want to name them, but they're like, hey, Rod, did you see in the Facebook group or on Twitter this? No, I didn't see any of it because I don't read it. It's dumb. But this Stone thing is just getting above. Like John Ohm in Winnipeg says, Rod, do you think the NHL will look into the Las Vegas issue behind closed doors? They already did. A couple of years ago, Tampa Bay did the same thing with Kucherov, right? And at the end of the season, the GMs talked about it and decided nothing was needed to be changed about it. They already did look into it. Maybe they'll look into it again. But you think they're going to change it in the middle of the playoffs? I guess to say stop whining is they're going to whine if they want to. I was thinking of this the other day. My grandfather, Marion Nicholas, my mom's dad, took us to a Rough Riders game in the 80s. It might have been the 70s. Me and my cousin Chad were the 3 months apart in age, and we left the game, 10 minutes to go. Rough Riders and Toronto Argonauts. I'll never forget John Lynch was calling the game on the radio. He brought us home, and we pulled into Milestone, Saskatchewan, which is 30 miles south of Regina, when the game just ended. And we whined and complained and whined to my grandpa for leaving early. Maybe it's a genetic thing, and that's why I leave early now. He didn't even turn around and look at the back seat of the car. Didn't even hear it. Maybe I need to be more like Marion Nicholas. Whine all you want. I'm not listening. We're leaving early, and I'm not listening to it. Regarding the World Championships, I can't remember now because 877 people have written in here today. I've read all your comments, but they said, go, Canada, go. And I said, for what? What now are we cheering for? BW in Edmonton says, Connor Bedard, CB98, is going to the World Hockey Championship. Not sure where it is. Is it in Prague? I feel like it's in Prague. Because I have friends who were going to go over there and have elected not to for their own reasons. And I said, well, Prague, I don't think is going anywhere. They don't need to go this year. They'll be back. John Ohm, a little more. If we want to bring up incidents of people whining, he says whining from fans of CFL teams going over the salary cap. They were whining a lot, but not to this level of the Mark Stone stuff. Good answer, but not to the level of this Mark Stone stuff. It's insane. David, number 1 in Winnipeg, says Luke Gazdic, who got absolutely rocked by Big Buff, Dustin Bufflin. Yeah, but as a matter of fact, to Luke Gazdic's credit, we asked him on here one time, what was the hardest you ever got hit? And he brought that up. Dustin Bufflin hitting him, whatever the year was. I got to go back and look at that. An interesting sidebar. Stacy watching at Access Television World Headquarters and now Access Radio as well. Stacy says, in response to Brien Ray of Dallas Stars TV, Brien said he used an Easton aluminum stick because Brett Hull did. Stacy at Access says, I used a Titan because of Gretzky when I was a kid. If you wonder why they have these endorsement deals, there you go. And I used a Victoriaville goaltender stick because of Ron Hextall. I will say this about the Tampa-Florida thing. Game 2 tonight. I think Florida will win. Here's Moose's. Hang on. Here are the games. You can play along. Washington at the Rangers. New York up 1-0. Tampa at Florida here. Panthers up 1-0. Colorado at Winnipeg. Jets up 1-0. And Nashville at Vancouver. Vancouver up 1-0. Here's what I think. I'll take the Rangers to win. Moose is taking the Rangers to win. Oh, man, and then it jumped. Bear with me, everybody. Oh, he's got the Lightning to win. I'm taking Florida to win. I'm not joking. Moose is taking the Lightning. He's taking the Colorado Avalanche to win. I think the Winnipeg Jets will win tonight and go up 2-0. They haven't lost to Colorado all year. I don't think it starts tonight. And then Nashville at Vancouver. We both have the Vancouver Canucks to win tonight. 4 games. Play along at home if you'd like. But I was going back and forth with the Tampa Bay Lightning people today because we're going to be not at Game 3 Thursday, but will be at Game 4 Saturday at Amalie Arena. And I'll tell you, if Tampa Bay does come back and win this series, our Cats and Bolts podcast that we do on Florida and Tampa Bay NHL hockey will become the Bolts podcast. Just so if Tampa comes back and wins this series. But I don't think they will. Rich Sutter said it yesterday. Florida's just too good. They're just too deep. And John Cooper, masterclass in mind games, saying after Game 1, I was sitting in the room when he said it. The exact quote, what do you say? Florida is a not splendid, exceptional team. And we got to find a way to fight through that. 1:11 Eastern, by the way, as I talk about this. It just felt like they were chasing. But that's not, momentum does not go, I don't believe. Does anybody think that momentum carries from one game to another in a playoff series, especially hockey? I don't. And definitely not in football in a one weekend to the next weekend, no. But I don't think it goes from game 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. I don't. From the Barflies in Winnipeg, he says, is that a Hilroy scribbler? I don't know. Let's look. But does anybody else make scribblers besides Hilroy? No. It's a Caliber scribbler, but you would think it was Hilroy. 1,228 shows we've done, and I've got them all here. All. I was going to go back and have a look at the preseason predictions. I nailed some and completely whiffed on others. I had the New York Rangers picked to miss the playoffs, and they only finished number 1 in the NHL. Best regular season in Rangers history. Oh, well, can't win them all. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, I agree, Rod. The home teams will all win tonight. Am I right in saying there are only 2 road teams that have won so far in these Stanley Cup playoffs? We've only been going 3 nights, but the Leafs last night, 3-2 in Boston, and the Vegas Golden Knights winning. What is not being taught? Hey, take a second and appreciate the fact we haven't complained about officiating yet. And when I say we, I mean just hockey fans in general. There hasn't been controversial calls, really. There's some tight calls, but not chintzy or wrong calls. And I was looking this up this morning. The only 2 teams that did not score power play goals last night were the LA Kings and Dallas Stars. Both lost. Oilers led the way with 3 power play goals. So special teams were huge in some games, and your inability to score was huge, too, for Dallas and L.A. Interestingly, in the Boston-Toronto game, each team had 1. It was a wash. Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba, writes in and says, hi, Rod. Who pays the salary for long-term injured, insurance or the club? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Brien in Withrow, Alberta, writes in. He said, when the Moose said he lived in Chetwynd, I remembered what greets you as you enter the town. All made at the Chainsaw Championship. It is a whittled wooden statue of Ken Dryden leaning on his goal stick, but not in a Montreal Canadiens jersey, a Team Canada jersey. This is Brien sending a photo from from Chetwynd, British Columbia, where there's a statue of Ken Dryden as you enter the town. Why we felt the need to inform you of that, I'm not sure. But here we are. 902-518-3033. We are literally off-roading it here. We're going to take a break soon. Has Luke Gazdic logged in yet, Clark? From Sportsnet? Okay, we'll take a quick break shortly and get to Luke. We were just promoting the movie The Fall Guy, which comes to Landmark Cinemas, one of our fine sponsors, May 3rd. The Fall Guy. It's about stuntmen. Utah Darren writes in and he says, best stuntman movie is Hooper, starring Burt Reynolds. Yeah, but we're promoting The Fall Guy. But thank you for pointing that out. We'll take a time out, and we'll get to all these items. And if you have questions for Luke Gazdic, he joins us next. We'll be right back on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse is a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The race for the Cantera Seats Cup continues on Flow Hockey TV. The SJHL playoffs are on.
60 minutes and who wants it more?
Follow the race for the Cantera Seats Cup on Flow Hockey TV.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
It's your hourly reminder. Here's us imploring you to reward your love of movies by signing up for Landmark Extras for free right now. Well, when the show's over, okay? LandmarkCinemas.com is the place to do it. Get more of what you want. Free movies, concession items, and more. Free programs to choose from. Again, sign up for free at LandmarkCinemas.com for details. Let's please bring in Luke Gazdic. 147 NHL games with the Oilers and Devils. I don't know if I say best friends with Connor McDavid. Maybe he is. Roommates for sure. We'll bring that up in a second. And a very legit hockey commentator right now. Luke, welcome back to the RP Show, man. How you doing today?
Good, Rod. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure as always.
Hey, I love our chats. I'm going to start here. We're going to wind around a few roads. We only got you for about 10 minutes, but Lindy Ruff to Buffalo. Surprised or not? What's your take?
I was surprised. And you know what? I have a soft spot in my heart for Buffalo and the Sabres. I obviously live and grew up here in Toronto, just a couple hours down the highway. But my dad got drafted back to Buffalo in '78. And so when I was a kid, I always thought, the Sabres were the coolest team. And it's always a team on the, on the schedule and in the league that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. And I don't want to call this a lazy hire. I think that's a little too harsh, but I see, the same cycle of similar coaches getting hired. And I just thought they were going to go in a bit of a different direction. It was obvious that they wanted to bring in someone more veteran with some more experience. I originally thought they might go with some youth and someone that's a little more new, but I don't exactly love the hire. I think they really needed to shake it up and maybe, work on the culture there a little bit. Obviously, something needs to change, and I just don't know if this is the change that the Buffalo Sabres needed.
I love the analysis. I mean, you've watched the Sabres live. They're a very, very talented team. They're very young. But I think when it comes to the firing of Don Granato, they didn't make the playoffs. They didn't meet expectations. Like the firing, we're not arguing. You're saying who they go with next was open to debate, basically, right?
Right. And it's about what direction you want to take your hockey club in. And there's a ton of youth there. The defense scorer is one of the best young couple prospects in hockey with Owen Power and Dahlin and now Bowen Byram in there. You have two solid young goaltenders with Luukkonen and Levi. And I just thought they were going to go in a different direction, but they chose to look back historically in their organization and go with someone who was there before. And honestly, I want to see it work. I do not want to see the get any worse than they are, but I just, like I said, Rod, I don't know if this is the right direction they should have gone in.
13 years out of the playoffs. The thing with Lindy, it's going to go one of two ways. We're hoping for the best for sure. I brought up the McDavid thing because every Saturday night here in Florida, we watch Hockey Night in Canada. So I thoroughly enjoyed your interview with Connor McDavid. Especially when he was talking about making your lasagna. Are you making your lasagna? What's something that people don't know about Connor McDavid and should know about Connor McDavid, do you think?
Oh, wow. Great question. I would just say that he's a very normal guy. I think, viewers have a tendency to kind of think about people from what they see on the interviews, and he can be stale sometimes and a little bit boring. He loves the cliche answers, but he has a life away from the rink. He loved watching football on Sundays was a huge thing for us. We had a house in the neighborhood with a bunch of other guys that lived close to us, and we were kind of that central location. So we had a lot of football afternoons and nights watching, and he's just a very nice and normal kid at the time and guy now. He was a pleasure to live with, and on that Hockey Night show, I did divulge one story about him walking me through a goal that he scored versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Was just a highlight reel goal, basically 1 versus 5. And I kind of let the viewer in the mind of how he thinks the game. And that's what I got to see a lot of the time was the way he thinks and processes the game of hockey was the coolest thing about living with him, because I was just picking his brain on a daily basis about how he approaches it. And there is truly no one like Connor McDavid.
Obviously on the ice for sure, but normal off. Great answer. And by the way, Luke, when I looked up your hockey DB, I saw that you're born in '89, right? I was just thinking yesterday, I started in the media in 1988, so I've been around literally longer than you've been alive. Seen a lot of guys, and I listen. You're doing a fantastic job. For what it's worth, I really enjoy your analysis. So congratulations on this blossoming career, and just keep doing what you're doing and have fun. If it matters, I just wanted to pass along the compliment. Do you have thoughts, I hope you do, on the Mark Stone situation? Because I've had it up to here with the complaining. Unless you're one of them, are you added to the pile of you think Vegas is cheating, or where are you on that?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for the kind words. It has been a crazy year, to say the least. This kind of analyst position that I've been in wasn't even really something I was planning on doing when I finished playing. It was a call that I got from Sportsnet, and it's just grown and evolved since then. And obviously getting the opportunity to do Hockey Night in Canada the other night for Leafs Oilers was special for me. And I really appreciate the kind words. In terms of Vegas, I'm not on the side of complaining and yelling and screaming. It is a little bit outrageous, I will say, that if you have a guy that's capable and healthy to play game 82, he should be able to play game 1. But this is the way the cap system is, and they're not going to change it until the new CBA, because everybody uses it. And everyone will want to use it in the future. GMs don't want to change something that can potentially help them down the road here. I'm not mad at Mark Stone. I'm not mad at the Vegas Golden Knights. If they end up being successful, which they probably will, the way they used it, I'm sure people are going to have their opinions of it. But it's tough to be mad at, because they're not breaking any rules here.
I'm with you. But then they go into Dallas and win. Your former organization 4-3 last night. I have Dallas picked to win the Stanley Cup. John Shannon, same. And it's not like one game means they're not going to, but they gave it to the Stars last night. We'll be interested to see how they respond.
100%. I really like Dallas. I think from top to bottom, they have some of the best depth in hockey, especially up front. They have no problem scoring goals. I think they had 8 20-goal scorers this year. The key for them, like many other teams, Rod, is going to be their goaltender. And whether Jake Ottinger can translate some of the back half of the year success into the playoffs. He was a little shaky early. I think he finished 11 for 15, which isn't great either, but I think a huge part for Dallas is going to be their D and goaltending. I also have them not winning the cup, but I have them beating Vegas in round 1, so I think they will bounce back. A great part about Dallas is they have a lot of veterans in the locker room. Guys have been there and done that before, along with this great mix of youth with Wyatt Johnson and Logan Stankoven, but the vets in Pavelski and Jamie Benn, who I got drafted with, and I was sitting in the coach's office when he got named captain. Was this 10 years ago now, something like that? He's been through some battles as well. So they have the veterans to guide the ship, and I'll be looking for them to be the guys to respond in game 2.
You're from Toronto, as you pointed out. I think you've said on this show, a Leaf fan. I want them to not only beat Boston, I'd love to see them win a Stanley Cup. I want to see the whining end. I want to see the drought end. What changed in your mind from games 1 to 2 for the Leafs?
They just locked it down. They played a lot better defensively than we've seen them play as of late. And I will say something. In the playoffs, your big guys have to be your best players. Your best guys have to be the best versions of themselves. And Austin Matthews was that last night. He is the guy that makes them go. He's their driver. It starts and ends with him. John Tavares, their captain, is a huge part of that. And I thought he grinded and battled last night. They got some saves in net, which was huge. And that kind of allowed them to hold it down, especially towards the end of the game. And they're doing this without Nylander. They're doing this without Bobby McMann, who I think is a big part of their forward core. And let's be honest, I don't think Mitch Marner's had the greatest first 2 games either yet. So coming back home here with a split is about as good as you can ask for. They haven't had to go to Joe Wall yet. Which I think is a pretty ideal situation for them to have your starting goaltender feeling good coming back home. And I'm like you, I want to see this team break through too. And I think last night changed a lot of people's minds about and perception about who they are. This was a team that generally couldn't play and couldn't, fight through adversity in tough games. And last night really showed that they can hold on. But your top guys have to be your best guys. And last night they certainly were.
Trevor in Red Deer watching here on Game Plus Television. He writes it and he says, Luke Gazdic has quickly become the best hockey analyst on Sportsnet. I appreciate his insightful comments and the way he presents himself on air. That's on the Sober Carpenter text line. No response needed other than maybe you want to thank him, but there you go, man. I'm not the only one that sees that.
Hey, Gasoline Alley, shout out Red Deer, Alberta. I was there for a charity golf tournament, the Battle of Alberta charity golf tournament this summer, and I had a great time. I have some old teammates from Red Deer, so I'm always loving some positive feedback from the West Coast.
Didn't you guys raise like $750,000 in one night? I saw from that golf tournament. That was insane.
Yeah.
By the way,
money.
Yeah, exactly. Being an insider like you are, how many times you've been asked what's wrong with Nylander? I'm curious. How many times you've been asked?
Oh, man, in the dozens now. It's not only my coworkers, but it's all my buddies too, right? And my friends and family, because this is what I grew up on. I had a group chat with my best friends still who break down and analyze every play. And I think everyone's trying to figure it out, much like myself. I saw the videos of him skating yesterday, and I think that for me was, a bit just very confusing. If you're able to go out there and stay late and shoot, I don't know what's going on with him right now. I've heard everything from back to migraines to this guy was partying in Boston, and I don't exactly know what is true. I still think it's an injury, but they could certainly use him. So hopefully we see him on Wednesday in Game 3.
Last one, Jets, Avs tonight, Game 2. Do you expect a grease fire again, or do they lock it down, do you think? Just defensively and not 13 goals.
I think it's going to be a lot tighter tonight. I actually got assigned this series for round 1, so I'll be on the desk pre, post, and doing the intermissions with Mr. Colby Armstrong, and it'll be an exciting one to watch. I think I'd love to see another game like that. It's great when you're working on the network. You have a lot to talk about with all the goals, but I think it's going to be a lot tighter. Interesting to see what Colorado does in net. I think they should go back with Georgiev, but we'll see if they go with the Noonan. And I'm just looking forward to seeing this Jets team. This is a really good hockey team that knows how to play defensively, but can score goals, and they have one of the best goaltenders in the world. So excited to see another good hockey game tonight.
It's going to be fantastic. Luke, break a leg. Keep up the great work, and thanks for the time today.
Awesome. Anytime, Rod. Thanks.
Thank you. Sportsnet's Luke Gazdic checking in from the Big Smoke with a wonderful hockey update. So just like last hour, from now to the end of this hour, it's going to be you and me. 902-518-3033, whatever questions you'd like to talk about. It's been 90 minutes of hockey to this point. We can spread it around if you will. If you want, Zach Wilson is now a Denver Bronco. How do we expect that to go? Blue Jays are winning, and they're at Kansas City again tonight. So I'm just telling you, the number is open for Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beers, and also the YouTube chat as well. Before we break, I am going to jump into a sports update. And I could handle this all on my own. I would, however, prefer to see what you'd like to talk about. But from the NBA, LeBron James' anger boiled over after the LA Lakers' latest loss to the Denver Nuggets last night. His anger wasn't centered on the Lakers and blowing a 20-point lead in the second half or at Jamal Murray's game-winning buzzer beater to give Denver that 101-99 win. No, LeBron was upset about the NBA's replay center reversing a foul call on the Nuggets in the second half. James said Michael Porter Jr. clearly hit D'Angelo Russell in the face and that the call shouldn't have been reversed. Lakers are down 0-2 with the series heading to LA for Game 3 on Thursday. I find this interesting, and last hour, and I see I got to speed it up here. Maybe I'll cut the sports update in half and come back with more. Got some NFL next. But John Ohm asked earlier, who's got the higher TV ratings? Because the playoffs started basically at the same time. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. 10, for sure, 20 years ago, that stuff would be published in the Globe and Mail. It'll be very easily findable. I wouldn't even know where to begin to find it now. Do you, Clark? Do you know what they are, let alone where you'd go to find it? I don't even know. Where would we go, or do you know, to find who's got the higher ratings right now with playoff time, NBA or NHL? Because I don't have any idea. Well, we got 4 minutes in this break for people to figure that out. And even you people in the Game Plus control room, you're the TV guys, let us know. 902-518-3033. Because I dropped that in your lap. Oh, it's going to be fun next 25 minutes. We will be right back on Game Plus, Key Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
One of hip-hop's finest, Ice Cube.
You better check yourself or you wreck yourself, 'cause I'm bad.
Straight into Canada tour. April 28th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I can't believe today was a good day.
Among the most influential rappers of all time, Ice Cube. On sale now at sasktix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Working our way through a Tuesday on Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show, and with that comes a lot of hockey talk, obviously. I appreciate all the CFL fans that have come for the CFL talk and stayed for the sports talk. How about that? There just ain't a lot going on in the CFL right now, although there is an article up at rodpedersen.com right now on the Edmonton Elks season, and will this finally be the year? I told you that it would be me and you the rest of the way, and I will stick by that. I'm a man of my word. Nobody has really been able to find out where to find the television ratings. I don't even know. John Ohm in Winnipeg, which we will get to the Jets in a second, says who's winning the ratings battle right now, NHL or NBA? Allie and Texarkana writes in, where the heck is it? And she says, I would be shocked if it wasn't the NBA, unfortunately. Why should we be surprised? In Canada, it'll be the NHL. In America, it'll be the NBA. That's the number one sports that are playing right now in those countries. Thank you. Michael Wynn's watching at Ice Time Sports in Winnipeg. He just very simply says, hashtag go Jets go. Will they replicate the scene from game one the other night? Probably. The scene which Pat McAfee called, what did he say, bananas in that barn in Winnipeg? I think of the best comment that's come up, and we're only Tuesday, but the best comment that's come up this week was from our friend Navy Dawn in Ottawa that said he's cheering for a Winnipeg Columbus Stanley Cup final, which you don't got to worry about that probably ever happening, but that it would cause considerable hand-wringing in the NHL head offices in New York. I'm sure there's favored matchups they would like in the markets and so forth, but I don't know that they cheer openly against matchups like that either. I don't know. I've never worked in the league office, and I darn sure don't want to. Vince in Winnipeg, thanks for checking in again, Vince. He says, did anyone watch the Dallas-Vegas game last night as a Jets fan and get very worried for the Jets if they were to get past the Avs? Those are two big teams. Well, it's a little late to worry about it now. Or as a matter of fact, it's probably a little early to start worrying about that. Now you still got 3 more games to win against Colorado. Dan Asham in Winnipeg earlier wrote in and asked who I thought would win tonight. I got the Jets to win the series, and you can't tell me that home ice isn't a factor. All time, but especially now. Especially in a place like Winnipeg. I mean, it's a pretty big factor here. Like Matthew Tkachuk came out. And wonderful article, by the way, in Sports Business Journal I was reading today on Matthew Tkachuk becoming one of the NHL's most marketable stars. But I was in the news conference the other night when Tkachuk said that he got goosebumps coming onto the ice here in Sunrise the other night. Yeah, they get a bad rap. And in that Cats and Bolts podcast that Serena and I do, we had Panthers public address announcer Andrew Imber on. And I said, how do you feel when people spit talk the Panthers and South Florida's a hockey fan base? He's like, you don't hear it anymore. We sell out every game. I'm like, that's right. You don't hear it anymore. It's nowhere is as rabid as Winnipeg. Nowhere. Nowhere. Nowhere is as loud. Nowhere is as rabid. And in this particular series, I think Winnipeg's got Colorado outmatched. Whether they win tonight or not, I don't know, but Winnipeg will go on to win the series. Allie in Texarkana said, I can consider today a success because Allie says, at least this show put me in a better mood. I wasn't in a very good mood earlier. Hey, I understand it. Sometimes I got to coach myself into a good mood, Allie in Texarkana. So if we were able to do that for you today, that's a win. And I say that about NHL radio when I listen to Scott Laughlin every morning, and at times, Gord Stellick. It makes me feel better. If we're doing that for people, that makes me very happy. And by the way, Ryan in upstate New York, I got full disclosure here. Ryan writes in and says, that was a solid read this morning on the Elks, Rod. Good stuff. It was, but I didn't write it. I don't know how to handle this situation. I have the license from the Canadian Press and Associated Press to carry their articles on rodpeterson.com. So I put them on this. I won't tell you what the deal is, but I have the license to do it. And people think I'm the one writing them because it's at rodpeterson.com. It's not me. What do? I think I should just smile and nod. Okay. Thank you. Like that article last week about the NHL having an all-time revenue record season, $6.2 billion. That came from Stephen Wino of the Associated Press, published to rodpeterson.com. And Randy Moeller here of the Florida Panthers wrote, great article, Rod. Yeah. Ted in Red Deer writes in, and thank you, Ted, for doing so. He says, hey, Rod, is hockey growing in Florida with the success of the Cats and Bolts? You're talking about the hockey teams, not the podcast, I assume. Let's put it this way. In 1996, there were 3,000 kids playing hockey in this whole state of Florida. In 2023, there were over 30,000. So, yeah, not only do they have these learn-to-play things for the little kids, but I just saw an ad for adults now, too. Male and female, 18 and up. So everybody wants to play because they're having so dang much fun. Ryan in New York says, hey, I can appreciate the honesty. Well, I just have a tough time taking credit for something that I didn't do. A lot of people don't. I do. I don't have any problem taking credit for things I do. None whatsoever. Big problem for things that I didn't. BW in Edmonton says, is Utah announcing their name tomorrow? They mentioned some big announcement for when Bettman was there for Wednesday. Any Utah people know? Yeah, not in my vortex, man. Not. I know you're putting it out there to everybody, but do you know, Clark, are they naming the team tomorrow? It's not something that I've spent 2 seconds on. He's not even paying attention. So no, nobody's paying attention outside the state of Utah. I consider that will probably continue. Paul in Humboldt says, regarding whining about long-term injured reserve, etc., I'm reminded of the song, It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want To. I guess that you'd have to expand on that, Paul, but I get that a lot. If I want to whine and complain, I'm going to. Okay, you go ahead, but I'm not going to listen to it. How about that? That's the addendum. If you want to
How about that?
whine, go ahead. I compare it, if you weren't listening earlier, to when my grandpa took me and my cousin Chad, who's 3 months older than me, to watch the Rough Riders and the Argonauts. Must have been late 70s. We were 7 or 8 years old. We left so early. How early, Rod? We were pulling into Kearney's Esso in Milestone, 30 miles south, as the game was ending. No. In Grandpa Paul Marion's defense, the game did go into overtime. But still, remember listening to John Frenzy call the game as we turned, and I was, oh my God, we were upset. And we didn't let Grandpa ever forget that, but he never ever even acknowledged that we were whining. I don't think he cared. So I guess that's right. If you people want to complain about Mark Stone, go ahead. I'm officially done being a party to it. Didn't finish the sports update, and we will when we come back, plus overtime with a cap on viewer takeover. Our final timeout is right here on the Game Plus TV network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
I like it.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Foreigner, live in Moose Jaw. Foreigner is back. The Farewell Canada Tour. You're as cold as ice. May 13th, the Moose Jaw Event Center. Foreigner, with special guest, Headpins. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca and the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
The race for the Cantera Seats Cup continues on Flow Hockey TV. The SJHL playoffs are on.
60 minutes and who wants it more?
Follow the race for the Cantera Seats Cup on Flow Hockey TV. The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Okay, here we go. It's the South Florida studio. No Toronto studio as the Moose is traveling to a gig. That gig is the University of Regina Rams annual fundraising banquet where Moose will be speaking alongside Saskatchewan Roughriders new head coach Corey Mace. That is Thursday night. Overtime is brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. If you're loving what you're seeing on the television with the Stanley Cup playoffs, why don't you go down and play a little hockey yourself at Overtime Hockey Lanes, 28th Street Northeast, where skill and fun collide. Tell Randy and Michelle that the RP show sent you. Fully licensed bar and restaurant in there, too, for the parents. Go check it out. I'll open the sports update with a hockey note because of the Overtime Hockey Lanes tie-in. Hockey Canada completed its 25-player roster for the upcoming World Men's Under-18 Hockey Championship today with the addition of forward Tidge Iginla, the 17-year-old son of Hockey Hall of Famer Jerome Iginla, had 84 points in 64 games with the WHL's Kelowna Rockets this season. Iginla is the number 9 ranked North American skater on the NHL Central Scouting Bureau's final pre-draft rankings, moving up from 11th midseason. The Under-18 Hockey Championship starts Thursday and runs through May 5th in Espoo and Vanta, Finland. Told you we had some NFL notes. The NFL draft has taken the show on the road for a decade, giving cities around the country a chance to be in the spotlight. Detroit is on the clock now. The Motor City was once one of the nation's largest and most powerful cities and has bounced back from filing for bankruptcy in 2013. Fans driving and flying into town from the league's other 31 teams will see signs of progress from the symbolic to the significant. In the heart of downtown, the NFL's 3-day draft will begin Thursday night. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark appears to be on the cusp of setting another record, the most prolific scorer in NCAA Division I history and number 1 overall pick in the WNBA draft is preparing to sign a second contract with Nike. This one paying $28 million over 8 years and coming with a signature shoe. The Wall Street Journal and The Athletic reported the pending deal, citing unnamed people familiar with the negotiations between the sportswear giant and Caitlin Clark's agents. How about that? On the day that we talked about, Brien Ray got it all going. Way back in hour 1, the Dallas Stars TV host, he used an Easton stick because Brett Hull did. I used a Vic goalie stick because Ron Hextall did. Young basketball-playing girls will wear Nike shoes because Caitlin Clark did. That's how it worked. Oh, and by the way, why did this pop into my mind? But you can always tell who's watching the show. I said, go look at my Instagram, @RodPedersenOfficial, and you'll see the video of them ripping up the front street in front of our home here in South Florida, making me wonder how we're going to get out of here to go to the hockey game tonight, the Lightning and the Panthers. And all of a sudden, all these people, you are followed @RodPedersenOfficial. Go do it now. And you can see the conundrum that we have. The sports update is for Landmark Cinemas. Wednesdays, tomorrow, are made for movie twosomes, and you don't have to be Jack and Rose, Han and Chewie, Miss Piggy and Kermit even, to get 2 admissions, 2 medium fountain drinks, 1 large popcorn, and your choice of candy for 1 great low price. But what you will need is a partner to go with you, because this deal is worth sharing. Landmark Cinemas movie twosome every Wednesday. Check your favorite Landmark Cinemas for showtimes. And brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. To the Batmobile, what they're saying here, Utah Darren writes in, he says, Ryan Smith, that's the new owner. Don't we all know several Ryan Smiths? I know 2 for sure, not him. Ryan Smith has said he is going to take his time in naming the Utah NHL franchise. But who knows? They may name it tomorrow. The team arrived unexpectedly. Wayne in BC says that was a super fast, great RP show, as usual. Thank you, Wayne. Aren't you just full of the compliments? Allie in Texarkana says, great show, RP and crew as always. Great guests, Clark. Have a great day, everyone. Vince in Winnipeg says, for the Vegas controversy, I guess it's like super rich folks utilizing loopholes to pay no taxes. Not illegal, but do I have to like them for doing it? Nah. Seems greasy, but I get it. I'll guarantee you, all I'll say, you can expend as much energy as you want, but Kelly McCrimmon doesn't care what you think. Not one bit. That's the thing that I don't understand here now. Trump's in trouble for his hush payments to the porn star. How is this such big news? And isn't that what hush payments are all about? Supposed to stay hushed? Regarding my grandpa leaving the Rider game early and how we whined all the way home and he never listened to us. Jeff the Stamps fan says, Grandpa wanted to beat the traffic. Yeah, and the Rider fans strolling out of the hey, in retrospect, I get it. Took me many, many years, but I finally understood. Interesting, too, from Jeff the Stamps fan. He says, I read a local story on teams changing names, and the Flames were darn near named the Chinooks in the 1980 move. Gosh, that would have been terrible if they had, wouldn't it? The Calgary Chinooks. Now, David number 1 says, great show today, Rod. Go Jets. Thank you, David. Ryan in New York. Have a great day, Rod and the squad. Enjoy whichever sports you watch tonight. I'll say the same. Thank you, Vince in Winnipeg. Go Jets. I don't care about the Avs. We'll talk about it all tomorrow right here.
How about that?
Who has more fun than us?
Bingo! How about that? How about that? How about that? Beautiful. How about that?